After all we've been through. Everything that I've done. It can't be for nothing.
Welcome to Mojo Plays, and today we're searching for a cure as we battle the Cordyceps in our 10 predictions for The Last of Us Part 3. For this list, we'll be doing our best to predict where the story of The Last of Us Part 3 could potentially go, including major story elements and how they could affect some of our favorite and not so favorite characters. What are your predictions for The Last of Us Part 3? Let us know down in the comments. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Dina.
You make me want to go back outside into that blizzard.
Don't want to stopping you.
Dina was undoubtedly one of the standout new characters introduced in The Last of Us Part 2, and we witnessed not only her budding romance with Ellie, but also the two finally achieving their idyllic life in the country before Ellie's quest for revenge seemingly tore the two apart for good. While we hope for the best for Ellie, Dina, and little JJ, there are really two ways Dina's arc could continue in Part 3. Either she and JJ have returned to Jackson and have shut Ellie out of their lives for good, or the two have reconciled, and as many fans have speculated since the ending of Part 2, Ellie was simply returning to their farmhouse to collect the remainder of her things. Many point to Ellie once again wearing the bracelet from Dina as a hint towards a happier ending for the two.
I have no idea what that girl's intentions are, but I do know that she would be lucky to have you.
Mutations. Over the 25-ish years since Outbreak Day, the Cordyceps virus has produced no shortage of nightmarish mutations in order to spread its fungus. While we got some examples of new variations in Part 2 with the Shamblers and the particularly terrifying Rat King, the new entry could begin to see the characters trek across the United States. We'd love to see how the infected have adapted to the different environments such as the arid deserts of the Southwest or the moist humid air of the Gulf, which would be a perfect breeding ground for the fungus to expand and grow and produce some absolutely horrific abominations. These new variations could also pose new challenges gameplay-wise and offer new combat scenarios with infected to challenge veterans of the Cordyceps outbreak.
Good riddance.
Jackson infected. Assuming Ellie returned to Jackson, there would need to be some kind of horrific event like Outbreak Day to drive her away from her quiet life with Dina. It would be all too easy for someone to have gotten careless and let a horde of infected find their way into Jackson and destroy the peaceful community from the inside. During their attempts to escape the chaos, Dina could become infected, and Ellie would be forced once again to watch as someone she loves succumb to the virus. Leaving her and JJ alone, Ellie would be reminded of the many people she could have saved with her immunity, preventing something like this from happening to more people she cares about. With Dina gone, Ellie could leave JJ with Maria and set out with Tommy to find what might remain of the Fireflies and make sure her immunity isn't for nothing.
You know what? I'm leaving tomorrow. And if you want to come with me, great.
Abby and Lev.
We're looking for fireflies. I'm a firefly.
Where were you stationed?
I was part of the Salt Lake outpost.
We pick up with Abby and Lev having reunited with the Fireflies on Catalina Island, and assuming some time has passed between the events of Part 2 and 3, she has worked her way up within the Fireflies. Although Abby and Lev have settled into their new lives, there's still that part of Abby that can't let go of the past, and she could be attempting to once again restart her father's research into a cure. Upon hearing rumors of a pre-outbreak doctor who had worked with her father somewhere in the Midwest, she sets out to find out if the rumors are true. She could either set out with a group of like-minded Fireflies or just her and Lev, but before they reach their destination, the group is beset upon by a new group of scavengers like the Rattlers, but somehow even worse, and Abby and Lev end up on the run with this new group in pursuit.
We don't let anybody stop us. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Follow me.
Fireflies.
I need you, Abby. Yeah?
Yeah. I get it.
What remains of the Fireflies has long since given up on finding a cure and have instead set their sights on becoming the new authority within what remains of the United States. With what remains of Fedra becoming more dictatorial as supplies ran low, most quarantine zones have since fallen or been overrun with infected. The Fireflies now believe they can install a governmental power they control and attempt to get life back to the way it was pre-outbreak. Abby hasn't given up hope on finding a cure for the infection altogether and attempts to persuade the Fireflies to continue their search for those immune to the cordyceps, but purposely doesn't tell them about Ellie, wanting to leave that part of her life behind her. While the Fireflies' belief in the cause is mostly gone and their sights set on the future of rebuilding society, they still allow Abby to pursue her endeavors.
Then I suggest you all stop gossiping about it.
Let me go after him.
Ellie and Tommy.
You can't talk me out of this.
Having left Jackson behind, Ellie and Tommy begin to trek across America in search of the Fireflies. Tommy recalls them once having a large outpost in Vegas, letting us see the Las Vegas Strip reclaimed by nature and the infected. This would also be a great introduction to new forms of infected that have adapted to the desert landscape. However, finding no Fireflies within the city, Tommy suggests they go back to Texas where he and Joel first crossed paths with the Fireflies. We'd love to see Ellie and Tommy take up this journey on a couple of motorcycles in honor of Joel and the story he told Henry about Tommy's birthday. With Tommy's injuries from Part 2, however, he's not as capable as he once was, leaving Ellie to do much of the exploring and scavenging, but this would give Tommy more chances to make use of his sniper rifle skills, covering Ellie from afar.
Got stragglers.
How many?
Just a handful.
Flashbacks.
If I ever were to lose you, I'd surely lose myself.
As Ellie and Tommy continue their journey, Tommy could fill us in on some of the time between Outbreak Day and his and Joel's eventual falling out. Joel is too beloved a character to not have him return in some capacity, and being able to see him at his prime through flashbacks would not only help flesh out his backstory a bit further, but also help give players more closure with the character and further understand the journey that led him to Boston. While we most likely would play as Tommy rather than Joel, since the story would be told from his perspective, being able to relive those memories similar to Joel and Ellie in Part 2 would be a great way to let players travel with Joel one last time.
I know you wish things were different. I wish things were different. But they ain't.
Ellie's lie.
Swear to me that everything that you said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
After the events of Part 2, Tommy and Maria never reconciled, and Tommy has been living outside the Jackson City limits, with Ellie bringing him supplies and staying in contact with him over the years. During all this time, Ellie never tells Tommy she didn't kill Abby during her pursuit of revenge for Joel's death. Instead, she follows in Joel's footsteps and lies to Tommy, leading him to believe the whole ordeal was over and vengeance had been served. Tommy never asks for details, and Ellie never gives him any, simply telling him it's done. Ellie maintains the lie, never believing she would ever have the need to revisit that time of her life. That is, until the fall of Jackson and the two begin their pilgrimage for the Fireflies.
Don't ever let me see you again.
Crossing paths.
Help me. Please.
As Ellie and Tommy make their way into Austin, they cross paths with Abby and Lev, with both parties being pursued by scavengers and infected, respectively. The group uses the chaos of the infected attacking the scavengers to escape, but Lev is killed and Tommy is fatally wounded. Tommy is furious that Abby is still alive and attempts to kill her before Ellie stops him, and then Tommy realizes where they are as they stand only a few feet from where Sarah died. Overcome with emotions, Tommy begs Joel for forgiveness for leaving him and tells him he understands now he was only trying to keep them all safe. As Ellie and Tommy grieve and he begins to fade, the pair is beset upon by another group, this time the Fireflies. Recognizing Tommy, they bring them back to their headquarters where Tommy unfortunately passes away.
There is no cure because of me. I am the one that you want. Just let him go.
It can't be for nothing.
She needed her immunity to mean something.
Abby explains to the Fireflies where she's from and that she's looking for a doctor that was working on a cure. The group initially dismisses that there is a cure before Ellie interjects and tells them about her immunity. The doctor verifies that her immunity is real and outlines plans for how to create a vaccine for the cordyceps. Abby begins to have regrets about letting Ellie go through with the surgery, finally understanding Joel's connection to Ellie because of Lev. As the Fireflies prepare for their surgery, Abby sneaks Ellie out of the compound and brings her to Joel's house, having found his address within some old notes in Tommy's things. Ellie heads inside alone and finds the home relatively intact. She says her final goodbyes to Joel, Tommy, and Dina before undergoing the surgery, with the game ending as she's put under, and we never know whether the cure worked or not.
I told her her immunity meant nothing.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Mojo Plays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.